Like, why do you have to go? Why do you have to go out of town? What about why do you have to go to that show? Why are you at the studio still? Why are you with him? Like, he's gonna be tight. Like, but if he's a creative like you, and he has a schedule like yours, then, you know, and if he respects your hustle, and if you respect his hustle, y'all will never have a problem. Ever, I promise.
And I'm sure there's no code for any of us in this room for relationships. So
I would say that, I want to talk about something related to this. It's like, I found that the hardest relationship to have were actually with my friends. And not necessarily men, because they were always around to some extent, right? I found that when you are a go-getter, when you are always the chaser, when you're always the doer, the thinker, what happens is that some of your people don't think like you. I found myself always like, my girlfriends, some of them needed so much attention. I was like, I will say this, that I needed them. This is an interesting piece. I did need them, and they needed me. But what I found was that instead of me having a visceral reaction to that, I instead noticed that we both could gain something. I could teach them about what really drives me and passionate, and then I could actually listen to them, because it's much harder to listen to people you're around all the time to say, I didn't know my girls wanted to be fashion designers, or some of them wanted to open businesses, right? And they didn't feel like they could access me, right? And that was their problem. Their problem is they didn't know how to say to me, you can promote better than anyone in the city. I need you. I need your help. So I found time to always have a dude in some context. But what I found hard was like when I lost my first group of girlfriends. And I lost 3 at a time. Like, it wasn't just one. It would be like, oh, we out. I'd be like, why you out? Oh, why you out? But they'd be like, you're always like, I gotta be here. And what I didn't realize is actually being a promoter in the city, I had all this love. But I was always missing out on Thanksgiving dinner, because I always threw a party on Thanksgiving Eve because it was the biggest moneymaker. I was always leaving the Christmas dinner table because I was like, had to go to someone's event. So I would say that relationships across the board need you to value them, so to show them that your skill set that you bring to the table is available to them. So I would say that was harder than men.
I think that's the bigger picture.
Non-gender binding situations.
Yeah, it's deeper. Yeah,
for me, I'm just busy. I'm busy. I'm always going. I have a 5-year-old. I have a job. I have this and I have that. So I can make time for the people that I want to make time for. But if I get into something and it's not exactly what I need at the moment, or I'm not getting what I'm not getting what I need, whether it be attention, whether it be some space, whether it be something, like I just have like a thing where I can just cut it off, because I don't need to be distracted. Like when I'm on a path, I would rather not be distracted by, oh, you didn't call me today, or where you at, why didn't see you. I don't have time for all that. So, like if I find someone that is meeting me on my level, equally yoked, that is understanding, that knows, that I have to go do this and that. Hey, you watch my son? Like, watch my son. Like I was telling people, I'm looking for a nice companionship and a babysitter. So,
So I'm going to speak on one thing of this. I'll just share one thing. I lived like that, thinking that I didn't have time for a man, that I didn't have time for friends. And when you get to a place in your life when you realize you have success and you climbed up and there's no one around you to share that with, that's lonely. So I do encourage you guys to make time and balance. Like for me, I have all that now. I have friends. I have a man. We're happy. I'm happy. I'm happy with my friends. You have to make that time to let people invest in you and love you, and you have to be able to be available to love them and invest in them. And also what propels you in success is being around other people who, like, my friends, they don't do the same things that I do, but they understand what I do, and they give me the space to grow there and the support when I need it. And it goes both ways. Like, I learned how to do that for them, being their champion, them being in mine, sharing our wins, sharing our losses. Like, you need people. She's one of them.
I know, I'm like, you need people
like that in your life. Like, you have to find, I don't like those excuses about, like, nah, yo, I gotta grind, and then when I get there, I'm gonna share it. No, because you're gonna look around and reach back up, and then you're not gonna know who really has your back because you climbed up here, and now everyone wants to come, but like, who's there with you when you climb? You need that.
When no one else is there. When no one else is there.
No, I'm just very experienced with you because at a certain point in your young adolescent years, like I said, I was very focused, right? 16 to 23, I was already in my field. I graduated 2010 in a recession with my job, so I was very focused, but I always made time, whether it was a young adolescent relationship with my boyfriend at the time, and I'm the eldest out of 12 from my dad's children. So my sisters who came up to see me here today, I make time for every single person because that's who I am and that's what I want in terms of life. My friends are from different career fields and different paths, but I make them know what I'm doing, you have access to. Anything that you want, this is what I do, but I'm sharing it with you. If there's a show, if there's a concert, if there's whatever, if there's an artist you want, I am your insider. Don't go to anyone else because that's the hardest thing. You're reaching out to different people who's never going to email you back, right? Because that's the gap. But they don't have that intention for you. But me, you call me if we didn't talk in 3 years, but I keep that open relationship.
She does. I co-sign that.
You reach back out and you're like, Z, I'm in Trinidad and there's a show. I'd be like, give me a minute. Let me work on it. But I make time for every single person. As if you're important to me, that's what I do.
And that's in character.
That's beautiful. Love that. For the next question, most of you are in male-dominated fields, and the dynamics of being a female in a man's world is difficult at times. But it's even more difficult when you see a sister friend and she doesn't show you the same love that you expected because we're in that field dominated by nothing but tennis. And like, I can't get no love.
All right, she got real quick. Like, it's not real so quick.
I'm definitely gonna speak on that. One, coming from radio, media, entertainment has been dominated for me. Going into science and tech has been dominated for me. Going into entrepreneurship and business has been dominated for me. So I've made a personal commitment to myself. When I see another black in the room, when I see another woman in the room, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to let her know that there's the way these corporations and industries set it up for women is there's only space for one, and I don't believe that. And I don't believe that they create this queen bee mentality where if there is one woman in entertainment or radio, it's only that woman. We can't give another job because ain't gonna be two blacks, ain't gonna be two women, ain't gonna be two nothing. And it's like, no, we're gonna Noah's Ark this up. No, seriously, like, y'all all about making room for another woman doesn't take away from what I'm doing. It doesn't. It really does. Even if she gets promoted above me, the more of us we see in leadership or in positions of power means it should mean that there's access. But I've been in spaces where women haven't held, but that didn't deter who I am because I know who I am, and I'm not. Confidence and collaboration, they go hand in hand. We need more women championing for each other rather than being competitive.
I have a two-part answer to that, and I think it's important. So one of the things is women, if you guys read the book, I can never pronounce her name, we should all be feminists, right? Chimamanda. So she writes this book, she's a feminist, right? Women, young girls are not necessarily socialized to be bold or to be brave or to support other women. In fact, we go a lot harder. Everyone on this panel has helped a brother, a DJ, a promoter. We could talk another rapper, get on and stay on, and we don't give that same to ourselves, right? So it's a socialization thing. The second thing is, I think it's important to add, is that a lot of times women are not given the same respect that we are going through things. Like when I was a promoter, I was competing with all men, and they either wanted to sleep with me or dog me or rob me or knock me off my pedestal. So I became I had a chip on my shoulder, right? And I oftentimes tell people that no one cared that I was going through that, right? Instead, it was like, well, Liz doesn't say hi, or Liz Liz has got the door wide open, but why isn't she pulling me? Because I'm drowning myself. And I think that it wasn't until I got out the game that I realized, one, that people thought that way about me because I was in a bubble, but two, that I had to save myself, and I had to teach myself how to save myself, right? And thirdly, men really put us against each other. When I first met you, I remember people like, she's crazy. I was like, well, I'm crazy too, so I guess we're going to be crazy together. And what I found was that they would create division. So most of us have been on radio at some point. It would be like, well, there's only one room for a girl at Hot 97. Me and Hot Sauce, she was at night, I was in the daytime. But it was never like, y'all are the queens of this station. It would be like, if I did something that made him mad, then Toya was his friend. If Toya did something that was mad, then Hot Sauce was his homegirl. And then if, you know what I mean? So what happens is that we get chopped down and screwed because then we get fearful because it's like, I'm trying to make it. That's the Northern Star. But here's this person saying to me, if you want to have that Northern Star, then you got to focus on your shit. So then I'm like, girl, you're cool and all, but I'm trying to eat, right? And so I think that I would say that it's wrong, but I think that socialization and also sort of the space you're in, I commend Zenova. You know, we all were at a place where, like, I've seen her grow up, but I think for some of us, I just have to speak my truth, is that I didn't know that I was in a, you know, in a downward spiral until I had already reached the bottom. And I think that made it really hard for me to help other women. Now I know that helping other women is the basis of all my work, right? And even if it's just sharing something that a woman is doing, that little bit of sharing is opened up too. So I'll just say that.
And like many of us, I've, male-dominated industry from a network and jumping from different networks. But my biggest thing was I was very, very assertive from the beginning of my career, right? So everyone I encountered, there was this exterior of, leave this little person alone, right? Always leave her alone because she's gonna get her work done. So I don't have the stories. I know the stories because they're there. Did I prevent them? Absolutely. But was I respected? So in my situation, I'm very grateful for the men, which is weird, that I've worked for because they've all respected me and seen me in this light that held me up, right? So whether when I was on air with DJ Chubby Chub, right? So then I worked with Marcus Skipton, who did Mass Appeal Out Here, which is a record label who signed SWV, and we did Memphis Bleak, and this is all in Boston now, right? And these are different men, Caucasian, Hispanic, and working at the men at BET. It was always a respecting, even again, a Greg who's here from Killer Boombox and Brandon, all just respect. So, and again, down to the guys I work with now, there are some men that are there that's going to respect you for who you are. But as women, the assertiveness and the boldness starts with us. And that's from the step. You create, and I'm not saying create an exterior, but you let them know I'm here for work and work only. And I call, Young Gangsta YG my friend now after 4 years. And it took 4 years because I was I'm not playing with none of you. I have work to do. And even still now, it's still very much so work. So as us, and again, back with Liz and T said, we have to continue to uplift ourselves and other women, but also make sure you're telling the next woman, I need you to speak up for yourself. I need you to be bold. I need you to be strong and set your own boundaries. And the more we say that to ourselves, our brothers and our, the other ones, they see it and they respect it.
I was actually speaking with some of the girls in the crowd about this, so as soon as you asked the question, I just found them. I'm like, we just talked about it. Because me as a MC, I feel like the whole, what's up, sis? It was a little tricky for me in the beginning. Because what happened was, and which is why I love that you said that, because I can keep it short now, because you gave the fruits and vegetables of the situation. Like, there has to be a standard. There has to be a sense of accountability for us as women too, because exactly what you said. when I first started, it was like, nobody cares that you're going through things, girl. Like, that's real, right? But then it developed into, actually, nobody cares about anybody else's feelings as much as you care about your own. So that just helped me with the whole male-female shit. Because people are like, how does it feel to be a female rapper? Never had anything else to compare it to. Always been a female. Don't know. and I kind of tried to keep that. So what happened was, very simply put, so the Black Roses thing that I mentioned earlier, when I first came from school, the reason why I felt like I needed to create it, because me being a rapper, so I'm out here spitting bars, and I'm all aggressive, I'm in the hood, and I'm doing all this stuff. But then it would be I would have girls email me instead of just walk up to me and say, hey, I would love for you to help me, because they're like, I was scared, your eyebrows, I didn't know. Eyebrows, and I'm like, and I'm telling you, I'm got that multiple times. So it was what would start. So I tried to create the Black Roses Network because it was we need some type of. When I was in college, people prompted me to try to start the Delta chapter at my school. But my thing was, I was still very much in my tomboy ways, and my thing was I'm not into girls chilling with each other because it looks good or it's what you're supposed to do. Yep. Because that's the same thing. Fast forward when girls come up to me, yo, what's up, sis? We gotta do it for the city, sis. Actually, you don't know my mother. You don't know my mother. Because we're sis, and I can refer to you as sis, and I can refer to all these ladies, even though some of them I kind of just met, because what makes me feel connected to you is your character, is your confidence, is your boldness, is your strength. If you walk up to me like, yo, what's up, Dutch? We trying to do this record, sis, for the girls. Yeah, shout out to the email. Hit the email. But if you walk up just hello, hi, I'm such and such. Yeah. You might end up back with me and we going out on that
whole vacation.
You might, what I'm saying? You might not come back, because it's that simple. So, just to keep it real tight, what you said, there has to be an accountability. So that's why, what I ran into was girls saying, I'm a makeup artist. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna help you, girl. I got 6 people lined up for you. What's up? Oh, I don't have any makeup. Okay. You don't have no makeup? I'm here ready to go with you, because of course I'm sure you go through that, because you go and it sounds like you kind of just stick to your business and handle yours. That's how I was in school. There's no big trying to figure it out. It's just simple school skills, curriculum, templates, outlines, write your stuff, bullets, stuff. You know what I mean? But people don't think like that. So what happens is sometimes you believe in others more than they believe in themselves. That's what I was trying to get to. So with women, we're big on that. Go, you don't know what you're going through. Sweetie, it doesn't matter what you're going through. We gotta get this popping. We gotta get this popping. We gotta fix this. They don't need to know, because they also in me as a rapper, which is why I had to throw my sentence in, because in the entertainment industry, as far as when you're a performer, they tell you that your life it's just your life. I mean, you want to be an artist, so they have to know. They should know everything. You should be an open book. No, you don't. Ask Sade about that. Let's be real. You know what I mean? I'm saying, ask YG about the same thing. No, you move at the pace that you want to move because you're confident and you're bold and you're doing what you want to do. So I just wanted to throw that in, because I'm in the rap field, it does get a little tricky, because it's I can't champion you if I can't tell if you only know these people because you slept with them. How am I supposed to network with them? Yeah. How am I supposed to? Because what it is, and why you segued into it so well, you're talking about the guys respecting you. Dudes respect me. Yeah. I'm grateful for it, but I never had no issue. I can count how many dudes I had to let them know about them, so I can count. And with that, I became protective of us women. Yes. When the girl walks up to this table yeah, girl, let's do this, and it's no, guys. Is she good? Can someone sign off on this? Because we all are about empowerment, and I do want to see my sisters win, no doubt. But I am not responsible for everyone's future, and women are not responsible for everyone's future, and they cannot keep getting caught into this believing in someone else more than they believe in themselves. What you can do, what I feel why I got a little goosebumpy when Talisa was saying that, is a true friend. I don't have to talk to you every day. It's gonna be right where it was when I left off. I expect you to be busy. Now, when why aren't you so busy? First of all, you rock with me because I'm busy, so stop. But the second side of it really is, why are you so available? Or not. Right. So I love where that went, because that's it. That's all. I'm all about women empowerment.
Handle your business.
But handle your business.
That's it. Absolutely.
I don't know how many women are in the sneaker field.
None. No, there were, when I started, there was no other women. I hired Janae, who's here, and it was us two. A couple other sneaker bloggers are here. They could tell you there's probably not a lot of women till 5 years after I started. And that actually, I was married the first 6 years of my career, I want to say. So I these two young ladies, when you are married, boys don't cross that line. They don't disrespect you. I only had 2 incidents while I was married that somebody was very disrespectful, crossed the line with me, and they were a 22-year-old athlete. And that was kind of, now that I am single again in the street, and I'm like out interviewing people, that kind of is a weird thing now, because there's so much internet. Before I got married, there was no Twitter. Like, I got married in 2006, so there was no social media. We were on MySpace. You know, literally, me and him was on MySpace, and like, you know, there wasn't all of that. And so now, like, when I originally got divorced, especially now in today's world, there's like real time, like people live streaming and DMing you, and they want you to send nudes and never even seen you in real life before. Like,
Send me a pic.
Yeah, send me a, like, who are you? Like, who are you? You know, so that kind of made me way more passionate about working with young women, because I didn't even know y'all was really going through that out here. Like, the things that people say to you on the internet.
They feel so emboldened.
The things that people send to you on the internet. They said, I mean, literally, when you think about it, like, I want to lick your stomach, lick whiskey off your stomach, and like,
We got babies in the room.
you know, it's just very inappropriate that people feel the internet makes you so accessible.
Yeah, it does.
They could just slide up in there and say the craziest stuff to you, and you're supposed to be okay with it. And I think what people forget is that we are people at the end of the day. Like, we don't owe you what shoes we wore 20 weeks ago, and what we're eating for dinner, what kind of shampoo we use, and who we cried over last night, and who's in my bed wake. Like, we don't owe you that all the time. And I think the pressure of that and the visibility is what brings us into a downward spiral, because we're always being made constantly. What does she have on? What is she wearing? Who's she hanging with? Who she's tagging? What brands? Like, so much. Like, can't we just go to the fucking movies? Like, can't we? Like, you know, it becomes too much. Like, that kind of is where I'm at now. Is just like, I'm really looking for more intimate connections, because I'm kind of in this space where it's like, you're throwing the biggest parties, you've got the dopest sneakers, you've got all your grills, you've been to every city and you've interviewed everybody you wanted to interview, and now you look around and you're like, I have one friend left, I have two or three other girlfriends. Yeah, 2 or 3 other girlfriends that don't even work in this space. They wouldn't even, like, we talk about our kids and our childhood, but very few, you look around and it's not cute up here. And it's a lot that you are trying to figure out about yourself and what happened during that space of time. And, you know, that I just encourage you just to take it slow. Really, like, really take it slow, be mindful, and be careful who you trust.
And you don't have to be friends with them.
And you don't have to be, and you don't gotta fuck everybody either.
Ladies.
I'm sorry. I thought you brought me here because I keep it a buck.